Okay, it is 9:04. We are live streaming, but we do not have a quorum yet. As of right now, we have 2 labor members and 5 management members. We're still waiting for 1 more member for a quorum. Okay, and I do see another labor member coming in the waiting room right now. So since we do not have a chair, it would go to our vice chair. Once I can confirm that we do have Chad on. Chad, are you here?
Yes, Paul, I'm sorry about my microphone.
Oh, no worries. I can hear you. And we are live streaming now. We do have a quorum with you added. So we can go to our vice chair. Dana, would you like to start the meeting? Dana, did we lose you? Are you still there?
I'm sorry, I spent all that time trying to unmute. I apologize.
No worries.
Yes, and please excuse my voice. I am fighting something here. So yes, so the time is 9:06 a.m. and we do have a quorum. And can we get a roll call, please?
Okay, there's my mute button. See, I'm doing the same thing. So I'm going to go in the order of the agenda. So we'll go with Marlene.
Present.
Chad Boggio.
Here.
Gary Glaze.
Here.
Dana Brown.
Here.
Tony Royster.
Here.
Matthew Rudnick.
Here.
Paul Gerard sitting in for Matt Zabo.
Present.
Holly Walcott.
Here.
Is there another JLMBC member who I did not call? Okay, then if we have 3 members labor, 5 members management, we have a quorum and we can begin.
Thank you. Item number 2, public comment. Is there any public comment?
At this time, anyone who's participating by phone and would like to make a public comment, please press *9 on your phone to identify yourself. Hearing none and seeing none.
Thank you, Paul. That moves us to our first of our action items, item number 3, which is the committee report 2307, determination regarding teleconferencing option for JLMBC members pursuant to Assembly Bill 361. The recommendation is that the JLMBC adopt the attached resolution and find that pursuant to the government code section mentioned here, that conducting JLMBC meetings in person without continuing to provide a teleconference or video conference option for the JLMBC members and the public would present an imminent risk to the health and safety of our attendees. Do I have a motion to adopt this, or do I have a motion on this item?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Paul. Can I get a vote, please?
There's my button. Yes, we can. And we'll go in the same order. So we'll start with Marlene. Marlene, your vote.
Aye.
Marlene votes aye. Chad, your vote.
Aye.
Chad votes aye. Gary, your vote.
Aye.
Gary votes aye. Dana, your vote.
Aye.
Dana votes aye. Tony, your vote.
Aye.
Tony votes aye. Matt Rudnick, your vote.
Aye.
Matt votes aye. Paul Gerard, your vote.
Aye.
Paul votes aye. And Holly, your vote.
Aye.
Holly votes aye. It's unanimous. The motion passes.
Thank you. Action item number 4, committee report 2308, employee benefits trust fund, staffing reimbursement, second quarter fiscal year 22-23. We have a presentation.
Yep, good morning. This is Ted Vasquez, benefits analyst in the Employee Benefits Division. And committee report 2308 is our staffing reimbursement report for the second quarter of fiscal year 2022-2023. The report requests that the committee approve staff reimbursements from the Employee Benefits Trust Fund for the Personnel Department salary costs of the 4 positions serving the LWell program and 2 positions serving the LiveWell program. Attachment A of this report provides the calculation of the second quarter costs. And the LWell program's total reimbursement amount is $128,802.56, and the LiveWell program's total reimbursement amount is $105,680.92. And that concludes this report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions from our members?
I move adoption.
Thank you. Holly. Do I have a second?
I'll
I'll second.
Okay. I think when my screen shows Marlene as a second, can I get a vote?
Sure, we'll do a roll call, a vote in the same order. So Marlene Fonseca, your vote.
Aye, you do. Aye.
Chad Bozier, your vote.
Aye.
Chad votes aye. Gary Glaze, your vote.
Aye.
Gary votes aye. Dana Brown, your vote.
Aye.
Dana votes aye. Tony Roaster, your vote.
Aye.
Tony votes aye. Matt Rudnick, your vote.
Aye.
Matt votes aye. Paul Gerard, your vote.
Aye.
Paul votes aye. And Holly Walcott, your vote.
Aye.
Holly votes aye. It's unanimous. The motion passes.
Thank you so much, Paul. I'm moving on now to the informational items. Item number 1, committee report 2309, changes to the JLMBC meeting format. Hopefully we have a staff presentation on that.
Yep, that's going to be me. So this report is bringing forth a change to how we're conducting business as JLMBC under state order. So the first action item that JLMBC took today was the adoption of a resolution under AB 361 to identify an emergency still exists and allows us under the rules as outlined under AB 361 to be able to have this meeting telephonically. That action that the JLMBC adopted identifies these whereas statements that are in the resolution, where there's the statewide emergency order that we're using, and we're identifying that a public health concern in Los Angeles still exists for us to enact the provisions of AB 361 to have this meeting telephonically. AB 361 is still law. It has not sunset. It has another year, but our ability to be able to enact that law is making these 2 findings. As of the end of this calendar month in February, the state order, state emergency order is going to be ending. So on February 28th, the order that we've been using to be able to use AB 361 for telephonic meetings will expire. Pending an extension of that order for any other reason, we would not be able to use that provision to be able to enact the AB 361 and have teleconference meetings. There needs to be an order that has 2 components in it, that it's an emergency under whatever the jurisdiction is that covers Los Angeles, and that it permits social distancing measures. As of right now, we do not know of another order that exists that has those supervisions outside of the state's order. So assuming that it does end on the 28th as expected, we will be resuming meetings starting with our March meeting, March 2nd, in person. This requirement is for the actual board or the body. In this case, it's a committee of the JLMBC, will need to be physically present in person to be able to conduct the meeting under Brown Act rules. So I did want to make note to the action from City Council. There was an action from City Council to adopt support for legislation to change state law moving forward, but that support is just a support action. We don't know of anything, whether or not there's going to be resolution change or something. Should there be, we'll let you know. But as of right now, if the state order goes through expiration as expected, our first meeting in March will be in person. There are 2 provisions that were added through a new assembly bill that do allow slight changes towards members' attendance in a Brown Act meeting under certain conditions. So AB 2449 was adopted recently. It went into effect last month that allows for an additional ability for members under very limited circumstances to attend a meeting telephonically. I hope many people remember that under the current Brown Act, you can do telephonic meetings, but there is a requirement to post your physical meeting location where you're going to be telephonically. So if you're out in a different city or state, you have to post that location and make it available to the public. This law this assembly bill allows you to attend a meeting telephonically under certain exception cases without having to post that location. But it is very limited in case. We do not expect that there's going to be situations from JLMBC members that regularly occur, which meet the just cause and emergency circumstances outlined in the law to meet these provisions. In addition, these provisions are only for members above the quorum level. So we still need to have, under the current law, we still need to have a quorum of management and a quorum of labor physically in the room. Any exception here that's in this to be able to attend telephonically would be above that quorum level. So 3 members management, 3 members labor need to be physically present in a conference room. Some of the changes that we've made over the past 2.5 years that we've been doing telephonic meetings, staff is recommending that we continue those changes. So we still continue this broadcasting of a live meeting. We still allow for participation from presenters and anybody else from the public to be done telephonically. We think this will be very beneficial towards the ability for us to keep transmission at a level that is safe, but also for us to be able to have a meeting the way that we need to be able to have it without having to prevent items from being held because a presenter wasn't able to physically be in the room or whatever the reason is in scheduling these meetings moving forward. So our plan is to continue with the broadcasting of the live meetings through Zoom to allow participation from presenters and public comment, both in person and telephonically. And to be able to post our meetings live and continue those through the current process that we've had. So the record is the record for people to view regularly. This is important also for our vendors. All of our vendors that we contract with have, the majority of them, I would say, have a stipulation that says they must attend JLMBC members meetings, and be on top of what's going on within JLMBC. We have about 10, 13 vendors, somewhere between there. I'm forgetting the number right now. So this would be able to make it easier for them to be able to choose whether or not they want to be physically in the room or participate telephonically and still meet the requirements of their contract. So the other very important piece to us moving back to in-person meetings is the upcoming schedule of calendar items that we need to take forward. From the remaining of the fiscal year, we have a number of very high-level items that either need to have action to move forward in a timely manner, or they're large discussion items. And this schedule here is subject to change. And as you can see on the screen, I've already had to change some things. But these are the items that we're expecting to need to bring forth before the end of this fiscal year to be able to have the LA Well plan for 2024 adopted in a timely manner. We have our RFPs for dental, vision, and EFAP, our Support Plus program. We have renewals from Kaiser and Anthem that we brought forth, as well as a lot of other items. So these are heavy, long topic items typically when we meet on them. And it is quite likely that over the next few months, we will need to use the majority of our 2-hour allotted time to go through the agenda items. And I'm saying that in a careful manner because I know it's going to be a very difficult shift for a lot of us, and myself included, to move back to an in-person schedule and having to build in transfer time and having to build in everything else to be physically present in a room for a meeting that we haven't done for a couple of years. So we will be updating this schedule or this list of events as we can. But that is the perspective that we're looking at moving forward. And I'll be happy to answer any questions or discuss anything that anybody has about this item.
Thank you so much, Paul. That was a very encompassing explanation of the law and how the law is changing. And I know for many of us, we are, a part of other Brown Act guided meetings. And so, the whole idea of everybody going back to an in-person forum in March is not something that's new to us, but you did do a great job in explaining the true why. I don't know if there's other commentary, but I have a couple questions. My first question is the meeting place the same as it used to be, which is room 1010? And the only reason I say that is that I always connect our meeting place to like Paul, and now that's in a different place. So that's one question. And then the second comment that I have is just to kind of reiterate the importance of the in-person quorum and how much work we have to do. And, and I know that it's difficult for everybody to kind of get back into that sort of space of like the transfer and the parking and all of the different things associated with being at the JLMBC meeting from 9 to 11. But it is of critical importance that we do that. And if we're not going to be able to make it, we have to send our representatives. And if there is no other, alternative, meaning you can't come and your rep can't come, it is critically important that staff know that as soon as possible, so that we'll know if we have a quorum. When we expect a quorum, we really expect a quorum. So, I think we have to do a little bit better, with that. I mean, that's for all of us, not, that me included. So, so Paul, do you have any, can you answer the question about the location?
Yes. So we did book our meeting room that we were most commonly in prior to the pandemic of room 1060, which is right next to where the 1010, well, I guess maybe a couple doors down. But we did book that room. We just found out last week that something happened and there needs to be construction to fix something in 1060. So we are temporarily moved to the neighboring room 1070 until that construction is completed. But I do recognize there are a number of committees, boards, and organizations that are all fighting for space. So we do have a little bit of a battle on trying to find and identify an active room. 1070, we did meet in a few times over the past few years before the pandemic started. It is a little tighter, but if we are able to successfully kind of create a better range in there, I think it's a very useful room that will still allow a little bit of space for members to be able to all be in one space and not feel like they're on top of each other.
Okay, great. Does anybody else have any comment?
Yeah, this is Gary. I actually have a question. In the last 2, maybe even 3 meetings, we've seemed to have difficulty reaching quorum. Should we discuss the possibility of making this meeting later in the day since we have to go downtown now?
Well, I will answer just to say this meeting at 9 o'clock is in our bylaws. So our bylaws would need to either change if there is a need to change the physical time of the meeting, or we would be canceling our regular meeting and holding a special every time we have it at a different time.
All right. So again, I'm more concerned about people coming. So would it be feasible to change the bylaws?
It's a process. We could definitely consider it if schedule is the issue. We would have to staff would have to poll everyone on the committee to understand schedule better. I do see Marlene has her hand raised. Go ahead.
It's not regarding Gary's question though. I don't know if
Oh, okay. So well then I'll come back to you in a second. I think, Gary, what we'll do first as our step is to do exactly that. We'll poll the rest of the JLMBC members to understand time commitments. Also, I would want to press alternates, as Dana mentioned. There should be a alternate available for each member. If you don't have one, we can talk about what the steps are to be able to have one put in place if needed. But we can start with that. We can poll everybody and identify if there is a better meeting time that doesn't conflict, if that is the reason why we're having struggling ability to get to quorum.
Thanks.
And then Marlene?
Well, just in regards to that, I could, my alternate and I, we don't live very far from downtown, so I don't think we would ever have a problem attending. So you could count on us for that. However, my question's about parking, since it was mentioned, and since I know Mr. Royster's on the committee. Is there going to be parking made available to us, or is it sometimes they would let labor in, sometimes we'd have to park blocks and blocks away. Is that something that could be arranged, or just so we could plan ahead of time?
I think something we need to do it ahead of time, because we're letting a number of the unpermitted employees park, the parking is extremely tight. So if we get a list of people that we can put on at the booth, so that, when you come in the meeting, we can reserve at least visitors parking for you.
Right. I mean, that would be great if we could maybe do it for the entire year on the day of the meeting or whatever.
Yeah, you just give me the dates, whatever, and the names, and then we can give it to our parking attendants. So when you come in, you tell them you're from the personnel JLMC, then they'll let you in to park on P2.
Great. Paul, is that something that we would submit to you, or should we submit that directly to GSD?
Yeah, we can be the liaison, unless Tony, you have a.
Yeah, I think just give it to Paul. He can work with us and our staff, and we'll just make sure you get parking.
Great.
Yeah, because early in the morning is extremely demanding, because now we're closing the lot to permitted parkers as early as 8 a.m. People are
right. I noticed that
5
yesterday.
o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, yesterday you couldn't go in like the regular side for
Yeah.
non-city employees. All right, thank you.
All right.
I think I see Chad with his hand up next.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Paul. Can you remind me how many from each side does it take to reach a quorum?
It is 3 members labor, 3 members management.
Thank you. I can commit to this schedule. I'm looking at it. We're 2 minutes from downtown. I start my day way before 9. So that's at least 2 solid yeses.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments from JLMBC members?
Okay, outstanding. Thank you for the discussion. So that is just a receive and file. Is that so, Paul?
That is correct.
Okay.
Actually, it's a note and file, but okay.
Oh, sorry, note and file. Thank you. Okay, so moving on to informational item number 6, committee report 2310, Live Well program update.
Good morning. I am going to be going over the Live Well program update for December of 2022. Starting at the beginning, we give a rundown of the December program newsletter, which started with an article focusing on the importance of gratitude. A reminder to obtain your annual flu shot, since it was National Influenza Vaccination Week, and a promotion to the upcoming, that's currently occurring, virtual Team Step Challenge. The newsletter ended with a schedule of the live fitness class offered via Zoom, our monthly cooking class, and a recipe for chicken pesto meatballs. Moving down to part 2 of the report, this included a summary of the traffic on our website. Item A reflects similar numbers compared to last month. There were 1,700 unique visitors and around 3,300 page views. Section B reflects diversity and inclusion, home, and the employee and family assistance program as the top 3 most viewed pages. Moving on to section 3, and we see the social media posts we share on Instagram and Facebook, and include a breakdown of the Zoom exercise classes. We did offer 45 live classes with 381 participants. The top most popular classes for December were midday stretching Zumba, and Pilates. And these are the most important highlights for Live Well in December. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question. I know you report on unique users. Do you, and maybe I missed it, do you report on like brand new signups? You know, how many new people you get?
So the Mhm.
Because that would be different than unique, right? I mean, you're talking.
Yeah, so the unique visitors are specifically to our website for Live Well. The new signups are a Limeade platform for participants. It is separate.
Got it. Well, I do receive the newsletters now, so I don't know who made that happen, but thank you. They're great. I like the graphics, whoever does them. Good job.
Thank you. That's great.
Do we have any additional questions or comments? Hearing none, thank you so much for the presentation. Moving on to informational item number 7, Committee Report 2311, the LA Well Projects and Activities Report.
Good morning, JLBC members. This is Chung, and I will be going over the projects and activities report for the month of January. First up on page 1, we have an update on the 2023 open enrollment. In January, staff has been working on completing the remaining items for the 2023 open enrollment period. These items include reconciliation of member benefit deductions for the 2023 benefit year. We've also begun working some preliminary work with the LifeWorks team on the upcoming 2024 open enrollment period. This preliminary work has mainly consisted of identifying areas for process improvement as we get ready, as we get ready to start on the work for the next open enrollment period. Staying on page 1, our next item is an update on the HRP project. Staff has been working with the HRP team and the LifeWorks staff on the phase 2 implementation. We've completed testing of specific test scenarios relating to the payroll process and have been in discussions with the HRP team regarding the current and future planned test stages for phase 2. Moving down to page 2, we have an update on the Affordable Care Act. In January, staff has been working with Benefitscape, the ACA consultant, to compile and finish reviewing the employment and benefit data files needed to prepare the 2022 tax year ACA forms. Approximately 45,000 forms are expected to be mailed out by 1/31/2023. And lastly, moving down to the staffing summary, we have one staffing change to report. Kevin Hirosa, one of our senior benefits analysts here at EBD, has accepted a position with Lacers. We have begun working on filling his position and the remaining analyst position. And that concludes this report. I am happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much, Chung. Does anybody have any questions or commentary on this report? Okay, hearing none. Moving to our concluding items, requests for future agenda items. Do we have any? Okay, hearing none. Moving to concluding item number 9, next meeting dates. We have a meeting on March 2nd, 2023, which is a regular meeting in person with live broadcast, teleconference option for participation from the public, as well as April 3rd, 2023, a regular meeting in person with live broadcast, teleconference option for participation from the public. If there is no further comment, the time is 9:33 a.m. and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.